The crackling campfire sent flickers of warmth and light across our small group gathered at the remote lake in New Mexico. My husband, his family, and I were enjoying a peaceful camping night, joined by another group of 6 people in the neighboring site. Laughter echoed through the tall pines as we unfolded tents, unrolled sleeping bags, and organized the array of camping gear scattered across the soft ground. My husband's younger brother, always the eager adventurer, fumbled with the tent poles, prompting a round of playful teasing from the rest of us. His good-natured laughter filled the air, adding a touch of lightheartedness to the task at hand. Amidst the friendly banter, my husband's parents, seasoned campers with years of experience, offered sage advice and shared amusing anecdotes from camping trips of years past. As the tents gradually took shape and the campsite transformed into a cozy enclave, the aroma of a crackling campfire filled the air. The flickering flames became a centerpiece, casting a warm glow that danced across our faces. The simple act of gathering firewood and kindling turned into a communal effort, with everyone contributing to the growing pile. My husband's aunt, armed with a guitar, tuned its strings, preparing to serenade the night with melodies that would become the soundtrack to our camping adventure. The strains of familiar tunes resonated through the air, sparking spontaneous bouts of singing, and even some impromptu dancing around the fire. The evening air was filled with the scent of pine and the sounds of laughter as we indulged in making s'mores, having a few drinks, and swapping stories under the vast, star-studded sky. As we settled into the night, a strange and unsettling interruption disrupted our merriment. Amidst the crackling of the fire and the soft rustling of leaves in the night breeze, an unexpected sound cut through the air. The desperate cries of what seemed to be a little girl calling for help. It was a chilling moment that silenced our chatter, leaving us frozen in a shared uncertainty. Confusion and concern etched across our faces as we exchanged glances, realizing that none of us had brought children along on this camping trip. Confusion painted the faces of our group as we exchanged uneasy glances. A collective hush fell over the campfire as we strained to comprehend the source of the distressing calls. It was a stark reminder that the tranquility of the night could swiftly give way to the mysterious and unknown. The haunting pleas persisted, growing more desperate with each repetition. My husband's family and the neighboring campers shared puzzled looks, searching each other's faces for an explanation that eluded us all. The fact that none among us had brought a child to the camping trip heightened the unnerving atmosphere, and a hushed conversation ensued. "What in the world is that?" my sister-in-law whispered, her eyes wide with a mixture of concern and disbelief. The little girl's cries seemed to carry an urgency that tugged at our collective sense of responsibility. My husband exchanged a glance with his brother, their furrowed brows mirroring the shared perplexity. "Is someone playing a prank?" he suggested, but the sincerity in the cries dismissed the notion of a mere jest. The neighboring campers, equally bewildered, joined our group in a silent agreement to investigate the source of the distress. The plaintive cries persisted, growing more insistent, and a collective decision emerged from our group to investigate the source of the distress together. With flashlights in hand, our makeshift search party ventured into the darkness, guided by the distant cries of the supposed little girl. The night seemed to wrap around us, concealing the familiar landscape we had explored during the daylight hours. The moon cast an eerie glow, creating long shadows that danced across the uneven terrain. Our collective footsteps rustled through the grass as we approached a field behind our campsites, the plaintive cries now louder and more desperate. Suddenly, our flashlights converged on a surreal sight. A tall, otherworldly figure standing in the middle of the field, bathed in an ethereal, pure white glow. My heart skipped a beat as I tried to comprehend what I was seeing. The figure appeared to be about 6 feet tall, with a slender, elongated form that defied any conventional explanation. Its white radiance stood out starkly against the night, and the air seemed to carry an unspoken tension that held our group in a collective hush. The mysterious entity continued emitting the sounds of a distressed little girl, adding an unnerving layer to the already surreal encounter. Bravery mingled with trepidation as we cautiously approached, our flashlights trembling in the darkness. As we drew nearer, the enigmatic figure began to retreat, slowly backing away from our advancing group. The tall, white silhouette seemed to dissolve into the shadows as it reached the fringe of the field, disappearing into the embrace of the surrounding trees. We stood there, stunned and bewildered, exchanging incredulous glances. Despite the disappearance of the figure, the haunting cries of the supposed little girl persisted, filling the night air with an unsettling resonance. The urgency and the pleas for help tugged at our collective sense of responsibility, compelling us to continue our search. Throughout the restless night, the haunting calls echoed through the trees, a ghostly reminder of the mysterious encounter. The initial fear that gripped our group gradually transformed into a shared sense of determination. We couldn't shake the feeling that something out of the ordinary had transpired, and we were determined to unravel the mystery. With a collective decision, we pressed on, guided by the haunting cries that seemed to lead us deeper into the unknown. The terrain became more rugged as we ventured into the heart of the wilderness, our flashlights cutting through the darkness like hesitant beacons. The moon cast long shadows, casting doubt on the familiar landscape that had greeted us just hours before. As we navigated the dense thicket of trees, the spectral wails guided us like an ethereal compass, compelling us to unravel the mystery that enveloped the night. Each step felt charged with a mix of trepidation and determination. The eerie glow of our flashlights illuminated the path ahead, revealing gnarled branches and unseen obstacles that seemed to materialize out of the shadows. The forest, once a serene backdrop to our camping adventure, now held an enigmatic energy that hummed in the air. We moved in silence, our senses heightened, listening for any sign that would lead us to the source of the haunting cries. The camaraderie among our group deepened as we faced the unknown together, drawn by a shared sense of duty to the unseen distress echoing through the wilderness. With dawn breaking on the horizon, we retraced our steps in the light of day, searching for any clues that might explain the bizarre events of the night before. The field stood silent and devoid of the spectral figure, leaving us with only the memories of an inexplicable encounter. As we packed up our camping gear, a sense of unease lingered among us. The shared experience had forged an unspoken bond, a connection that transcended the boundaries of our respective groups. The little girl's cries, whether a trick of the wind or a manifestation of something otherworldly, had left an indelible mark on our camping adventure in the remote corners of New Mexico. The journey back home was accompanied by lingering questions, each of us reflecting on the inexplicable events that had unfolded in the darkness. The tall, white figure and the cries for help remained etched in our collective memory, a story we would share with others but never fully comprehend ourselves. The remote lake in New Mexico had become a backdrop to a night that blurred the lines between reality and the unexplained, forever woven into the fabric of our shared experiences.